Hello everyone, we are from Group 7 and we will be presenting about skills for building personal credibility and influence others. So, before we start, let me introduce our members. The first one is me as your first speaker, Zafira Jagadhita. The second, Muhammad Mostaf, and the last one is Kseniia Sokolova. So, in this chapter, we will learn about understanding the basic skill that a leader must have: credibility, communication, and listening. The second describes the attitude of a leader from assertiveness and effective stress management. And the last one, identify how a leader performs about improving creativity, problem solving, and conducting meetings. And I want to tell you a secret, guys. Shh! Here. Because the material that we will be delivered is very insightful, so keep on watching!
We've all been on those uncomfortable team-building exercises, haven't we? Unless you've always worked on your own, then it would just be a bit weird. You know the ones, though, when your teammates have to catch each other when they fall backwards. And when it comes to your turn, you remember that hilarious practical joke you played on the whole team. But now you're in midair, and it's too late. Trust and respect are key ingredients in any workplace. Without them, there'll be no one to catch you when you fall. But it doesn't end there. Without trust and respect, your workplace can quickly become toxic. You don't really trust your employees. Don't you know that your workplace is toxic? Anyway, once your workplace is toxic, getting the most out of employees suddenly becomes so difficult. Is everyone on board? Well, they might look like they are, but if there's no trust, then relationships will be strained. Work output and teamwork will suffer as a result.
Building credibility. Credibility can be defined as the ability to engender trust in others. Leaders with high levels of credibility are seen as trustworthy. Credibility is made up of two components: expertise and trust. Building expertise. To become an expert leader, you must also understand your company and industry well. You can gain this expertise by reading industry materials, learning from experienced people, and talking about your experiences with others. Building trust. Trust means showing your values and connecting with others. Building trust also means making strong relationships, especially with the people who follow you. Expertise x trust. Leader in the first quadrant. These individuals have a high level of trust and a high level of expertise. The second quadrant might include leaders who have spent little time with followers. The third quadrant may be new college hires or people joining the company from an entirely different industry. The fourth quadrant might include those promoted from among peers or transferring from another department within the company.
What the? Alex! Get in! She's got a gun! Let's get out while we can! What? She's got a gun! Let's get out while we can! Pass it on!
He said, let's have some fun and take out the dam. Pass it out.
Skipper! Alex wants to take out the dam!
All right, but it's his funeral.
What?
Arms to port.
Aye, Skippy! Come back! That's my dinner!
Wolski, full throttle. Music!
Oh, I like this song.
It never gets old.
It does have a catchy hook.
Come about, bring her in low. Hold on to your skirts. It's dam busted time.
Tell them no! Pull up! They'll kill us! There's gotta be another way! Pass it on!
They say no pull up. Kill us. There's no other way. Pass it out.
Are you sure?
And there is no sacrifice greater than someone else. No! Medic! Ramming speed!
Bring it on! Bad kitties.
Communication. Communication effectiveness as the degree to which someone tells others something and ensures that they understand what was said. There are some different ways in which leaders can improve their communication skills, including: know what your purpose is. By knowing purpose, a leader or follower can better decide whether to communicate publicly or privately. Choose an appropriate context and medium. Selecting physical and social settings that will enhance the effectiveness of any communication. Send clear signals. Two other ways to improve the clarity of messages are to use unambiguous, concrete terms and to send congruent verbal and nonverbal signals. Listening. Good leaders and followers recognize the value of two-way communication. Listening to others is just as important as expressing oneself clearly to them. The following is a more detailed discussion of these 4 ways to improve active listening skills. Demonstrate nonverbally that you are listening. Make sure your nonverbal behaviors show that you have turned your attention entirely to the speaker. Listeners show they are paying attention to the speaker with their own body movements. Actively interpret the sender's message. Valuable way to actively interpret what the sender is saying is to paraphrase the sender's message. By putting the speaker's thoughts into their own words, leaders can better ensure that they fully understand what their followers are saying, and vice versa. Attend to the sender's nonverbal behavior. Much of the social meaning in messages is conveyed nonverbally, and when verbal and nonverbal signals conflict, people often tend to trust the nonverbal signals. Avoid becoming defensive. Defensive behavior is most likely to occur when someone feels threatened. Leaders can reduce their defensiveness when listening to complaints by trying to put themselves in the other person's shoes. Assertiveness. Assertiveness involves direct and frank statements of our own goals and feelings, and a willingness to address the interests of others in the spirit of mutual problem-solving and a belief that openness is preferable to secretiveness and hidden agendas. Everyone can do several things to help themselves behave more assertively. These techniques include using I statements, speaking up for what we need, learning to say no, monitoring our inner dialogue, and being persistent. Use I statements. Examples of good and bad I statements. The bad one: some people may not like having to maintain those new forms. The good one: I don't think these new forms are any good. I don't think they're worth the effort. Speak up for what you need. Tips for speaking up for what you need. Do not apologize too much or justify yourself for needing help or assistance. Example: I just hate to ask you, and I normally wouldn't need to. At the same time, giving a brief reason for your request often helps. Learn to say no. Keep your reply short and polite. Avoid a long, rambling justification. Do not invent excuses. Do not go overboard in apologizing because you cannot do it. Be upfront about your limitations and about options you could support. Monitor your inner dialogue. Assertive people have self-talk that is positive and affirming. Non-assertive people have self-talk that is negative, doubtful, and questioning. Be persistent. Assertive individuals stick to their guns without becoming irritated, angry, or loud. Conducting meetings. Well-planned and well-led meetings are a valuable mechanism for accomplishing diverse goals and are an important way of exchanging information. Goose and Shaw have provided 7 helpful tips for running meetings. Determine whether it is necessary. Perhaps the most important step in conducting a meeting is to take the time to determine whether a meeting is really necessary. Moreover, if meetings are regularly scheduled, you should have significant business to conduct in each meeting. If not, these meetings should probably be scheduled less frequently. List the objectives. You should list your objectives for the meeting. Prioritize what you hope to accomplish at the meeting. Stick to the agenda. Leaders to stick to the agenda. If items were important enough to put on the agenda, they are important enough to attend to in the time allotted for the meeting. Provide pertinent materials in advance. Leaders also give the other participants pertinent reports or support materials well in advance. Make it convenient. Another way to maximize the benefits of meetings is to pick a time and place as convenient as possible for all participants.
Encourage participation.
Everyone at the meeting should have an opportunity to be heard and should feel some ownership in the meeting's outcome. Keep a record. Take minutes for the record so you and others can reconstruct what the participants were thinking and why you did or did not take some action. Effective stress management. As we have noted, too much stress can take a toll on individuals and their organizations. To prevent stress from becoming so excessive that it takes a toll in some important dimension of your own or your followers' lives, the following guidelines for effective stress management are provided. Monitor your own and your followers' stress levels. Identify what is causing the stress. Problem solving can be applied constructively to managing stress, but only if the problem is identified properly. Practice a healthy lifestyle. There are no substitutes for balanced nutrition, regular exercise, adequate sleep, abstention from tobacco products, and drinking. Learn how to relax. Deep breathing techniques, progressive muscle relaxation, and thinking of calming words and images can be powerful on-the-spot calming techniques. Develop supportive relationships. Another powerful antidote to stress is having a network of close and supportive relationships with others. Keep things in perspective. Individuals who have relatively complex self-concepts are less susceptible to common stress-related complaints than are people with lesser degrees of self-complexity. Problem solving. Identifying problems or opportunities for improvement. The first step in solving a problem is to state it so everyone involved in developing a solution. Another aspect of this first stage of problem solving involves identifying those factors. Analyzing the causes. Developing alternative solutions. A procedure called nominal group technique, NGT, is a good way to generate ideas pertinent to a problem. Group members write down ideas on individual slips of paper, which are later transferred to a blackboard or flip chart for the entire group to work with. Selecting and implementing the best solution. The first solution one thinks of is not necessarily the best solution, even if everyone involved finds it acceptable. It is better to select a solution based on established criteria. Assessing the impact of the solution. The solution's continuing impact must be assessed, preferably by measurable criteria of success that all parties involved can agree on. Improving creativity. Seeing things in new ways. One way to see things differently is to think in terms of analogies. This is a practical extension of Cronbach's definition of creativity, making fresh observations or seeing one thing as something else. Using power constructively. Leaders should encourage everyone to share ideas, stop negative behavior in the group, and not punish mistakes but reward success. They can also give more authority to their team and let them take risks. Forming diverse problem-solving groups. Using the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, to boost diversity and creativity in problem-solving groups but highlights the limited evidence supporting its effectiveness. Relying solely on MBTI preferences for member selection is criticized as it neglects the vital roles of technical skills and intrinsic motivation in promoting creativity. Conclusion. A leader's trustworthiness and consistency in words and actions are fundamental to building trust within the team. Clear and adaptable communication is essential to effectively convey ideas, goals and expectations. Leaders can encourage creativity by fostering an environment where team members feel encouraged to share ideas and innovations. Study case. Yellow Pages launched a 2015 marketing campaign with 250+ billboards in Canada to promote their app for finding local, finest coffee, and quick fashion options. However, one ad mistakenly featured noodles instead of rice for the Korean dish bibimbap, leading to widespread social media sharing. Yellow Pages issued a discreet apology and abruptly halted the campaign, emphasizing the importance of maintaining brand trust and the need for cultural understanding in marketing. To prevent such miscommunications, it is advisable to grant all project stakeholders sufficient time to ask questions and review their work thoroughly. Additionally, considering the involvement of a subject matter expert can ensure the project's authenticity and cultural sensitivity.